But Luke 11:29 is where I'll start. And I'll try to zip fast through some of this stuff because there's actually a different section I wanted to focus on if we get there today. But Luke 11:29, the crowds are increasing, and I really think there's times in Jesus' ministry, and we talked about this a little while back when, John the Baptist had died and Jesus was looking for that solitary place, and they keep following him around, and he keeps trying to go to a solitary place, and then he feeds the 5,000. They try to make him king, and it's just, I think there's times in his ministry where he just got a little bit fed up with some of the people. And I know that sounds odd because you're thinking, here's Jesus that's love, that came to die for us, and yet I really believe it's true, because there's these times where there's these large numbers of people that go around him, but they're not really there for good reasons. Amen. And isn't that amazing that here is Emmanuel, God with us, thousands of people crowding all around him, but they're really not there for good reason. They're really not even receiving anything positive. I mean, you know that with the Pharisees and the Sadducees, the teachers of the law, right? Because they're there trying to ask him questions so that he'll say something wrong so they can crucify him for his words. Isn't that odd that we could be, and that we live now in a country where we can be crucified for our words? You say something wrong against certain people, or just in the wrong context or the wrong way, and you could lose a job, you could lose a relationship, you could lose a position. It could just be a one-time comment. But you said there. Isn't that weird in a place where we're supposed to have like a freedom of speech or some kind of concept like that we should be able to express our ideas, and yet even in our country we see that. But and that was what that group was doing. Looking for ways, looking for something he did, right? And remember the big bad thing that Jesus did, right? He was bad. You didn't hear about this? Okay. Don't tell a lot of people. But it's true, it's right. He would heal people on the Sabbath.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking.
On the Sabbath! Can you imagine? That's God's day. Well, why would you heal somebody on God's day? You don't work on the set. Now, if your jackass, if your donkey's thirsty, you'll go get him some water on the Sabbath. If your ox falls in a ditch, you're going to get him out on the Sabbath, because ox is important. Jackasses are important. But people, children of Abraham, healing it. Dudes, he even cast out demons on the Sabbath. Can you imagine? Setting people free from the kingdom of darkness on God's day of rest? So I think there were times, as these crowds of people get around him, and they're looking for signs. Remember, again, going back to that 5,000, they follow Jesus around the lake. They're like, hey, Moses had manna from heaven. How about you send us some manna from heaven? How about you feed us some food? How about you? And I think there's just times that Jesus just get a little fed up with them. Not because he didn't love people, right? He loves people. But it's that attitude of the heart. And it's people thinking there's something that they're not. Right? Whitewashed tombs, false teachers, wolves in sheep's clothing, individuals that are saying, trying to present themselves as one thing when they're something else. Followers of Moses. Hey, we're followers of Moses. We're keeping the law of Moses. We're people that are, God's people. And yet, if they truly were, they would have done what Moses did, and they would have accepted the Christ. And so I think there's times that Jesus gets fed up with them, and I think that's one of the things that's happening here.